Everybody, Scoutcrafter here. First off, want to thank you. 6,000 subscribers. I can't believe it. I'm totally humbled and amazed. So that's awesome. That's really great. We got our channel's really growing here. Today, because of it, what I wanted to do, I know a lot of you have been asking, some of the new subscribers, they want to see, what about the projects you did? Let me see some. So we'll get some of those together. And I have something that I've had for a long time, and I think you might enjoy it. Let me show you. It's going to be a warm day today. Let's get down the basement. Okay, this would be considered, I guess, our later restorations that we've done recently. And a lot of you guys have been here with me for these, and I do appreciate it. You remember we did the Billings wrenches. I guess we got a couple of those. We just did these Leatherworks, the seat clamp, some of the socket sets. We did a lot of wrenches at one time. We were on a wrench kick, like I'm on a plier kick now. And we got those done. And of course the pliers, you know, I do enjoy doing them. And this is what started us all. Remember, we did the auto wrenches, and then I did that one over the top, and that's what started me right there, that guy. And you remember the Coyote Ridge restoration right there. And a couple of the rigid wrenches, the pipe wrenches. And, you know, you guys have been here with me, a lot of you, throughout all these restorations, and you see. But if you haven't, there's some pretty good video stock back there of some of these. And a lot of these tools, I got to say, started off as rusty buckets and pretty much tools you wouldn't even take a second look at. Like, for example, these screwdrivers, right? You would never think of those screwdrivers as being in good shape. But, you know, we were able to get them back. And let me show you some of the other stuff. Almost forgot my fencing pliers that we did. Remember, 10-inch ones, and who could forget the Little Giant, right? We don't want to forget that one. This, I think, was my first video vise restoration. This is an old Monarch 215 or 216, but this is it's got the lion head on it, and this thing was a real wreck when I got it, and it came out really nice. So I had a good time restoring that. That's an older video. Later on, I did this old blacksmith vise, and what was interesting about this, it had an anvil incorporated into the vise, and this was patented in 1912. You could see the date down here. It says 1912. Had a little anvil on it. Interesting. It was really a wreck when I got it, but I was able to save it, and it's a nice little vise. Now this vise, another early 1900 vise, one of my favorites. I love this thing, and again with an anvil, much more heavy duty. Look at the size of this thing. The thing weighs like almost 100 pounds. It's just, it's crazy. But what's interesting is, first of all, look how nice this is. If you wanted to increase the width of what you can, the capacity of your chuck, you would pull this pin out like this, slide this back, slip the pin back in, and now you just increase the capacity of your chuck. And this came quite a bit back, further than this. And another interesting feature. Now, by taking that little cap off the back and replacing it with this handle, you could see we basically turned this into a horizontal drill press, and you could advance it with the same advance that you would use to clamp the vise down, and you could see you could drill through metal, you could drill through wood, all kinds of material. It was it worked quite well. And here we are just going through a soft piece of wood, but if you were on the farm and you needed to drill through a wagon wheel or something using, you know, metal, you could easily drill through this just by advancing it at whatever speed you wanted to. And it was quite a good invention for back in the 1800s. And when you were finished, you would just pull out the pin like this from the side, and then you would just draw the drill bit out, and you had your perfectly clean hole into the wood. So that worked pretty good. Next, we have the beautiful Parker 974. Oh, this vise is just such a sweetheart of a vise. I mean, it's a swivel base, has the wrench that you can tighten up the base and swivel it. And restored this a while ago, but this is still, to this day, this was just such a beautiful restoration, and smooth as like bearings this thing runs on. Just beautiful vise. Parker made such wonderful vices. If ever you get a chance to get your hands on one, this is the one you want to pick up, although it weighs a lot. Next is probably my favorite restoration. This here is a Colombian, and it's a 203.5, and you could see another beautiful vise. This thing was a total wreck in a garage, and what it was my girlfriend's father had passed away, and this was in the garage, and it was a real wreck. And she asked if I want anything. I really didn't want anything, but I said I'll fix that vise up, and she thought I must have been crazy because of the way it looked, but I did it, and then I put a little dedication on it. I have a really old engraving machine, one of the New Herms, and I made up this plaque for her and put it on there in memory of her father. So we really both enjoy this vise, and every time she comes over, we take a look at it. But it's a special memory for him. It's kind of a special treat because of the 6,000 subscribers. I wanted to introduce you to this beautiful concert roller organ that's dated back to 1904. Remember, this is before radio. This is before anything that you can imagine other than a live band. So this was it. And how this works is so interesting, and I know you'll find it interesting because if you like tools and whatnot, the mechanical properties of this is amazing. Now, there's two bellows underneath that go up and down like this that have leather bellows that send air up through these chambers. And as you turn this, you could see if I push down, it makes tones depending on which ones I push down. So what you would do is you would insert a pin cob, or they used to call these like corn cobs. They got little pins in them, and depending on how the pins were arranged, it would make beautiful music. So let's go check this out. Okay, everything's all oiled. We have the cover up, and this is just the way you would have heard it back then. How cool is that? Now, I didn't want to forget my younger viewers, so here's one for you. Okay, so in closing, I just want to say thank you again for the subscribers, especially for my percentage of lady viewers out there. I really appreciate it. And I hope you all have a nice weekend, and I'll see you again on Monday with another one.